Growing up, I experienced a horrible tragedy. I had been friends with David since kindergarten. One day in the summer of 1989, when we were in 6th grade, we were swimming in my pool, and we were messing around, and we were home alone, and my pool wasn't very deep. It was only like 5 feet all the way around, and we'd always been told to never dive in. We could jump, but we weren't allowed to dive. And most of the time, we had supervision watching us, even though we were in the 6th grade. My parents were always, I don't want to say they were helicopter parents, but they kept a close watch. They were very nervous people. But on this particular day, unfortunately, they were not home. It was one of the few times in my young life that they took a chance that I was responsible enough to behave and be smart and make good choices. So they went and visited my aunt about half an hour away and allowed my best friend and I to hang out at my house by myself, or ourselves. So David and I got to swimming in the pool, and we were messing around, splashing each other, pretending to jump over people's heads, and just being stupid kids. Things even adult males do now, but hopefully in deeper waters. Well, at one point, we decided that we wanted to dive into the pool. We dared each other to do it, and I had to go first, and I wasn't even nervous. I didn't even think twice, really. I just went ahead and did it, and nothing bad happened. Then David did it, and again, nothing bad happened. Then I did it again, and nothing bad happened. And then we decided that we wanted something to drink. So I went inside to grab us 2 root beers. And while I was in there, the phone rang, and it was my parents. And I totally lied and said we were behaving and not doing anything stupid. Your typical response when your parents call and you're home alone and you're doing something stupid. So I got them off the phone, and I poured the root beer, and I spilled some, so I had to quickly clean that up. And then I finally outside to the pool, and I set the root beers down, and I didn't see David. I looked all around for him, and I didn't see him. It took me a minute to fully comprehend it, but I looked down, and he was at the bottom of the pool. I thought he was messing around. I kept calling his name, and he wasn't moving. So I jumped in and dragged him out, and I regret this to this day. I did not know what to do. I did not know how to give CPR. I panicked. I threw up. I screamed. I ran and got the neighbors, and the mother called 911 while the father tried to give him CPR, and it wasn't working. David died in my backyard because we were being stupid. And I can't say that it took me a long time to get over it, because I never got over it. I never got over it. It still eats at me. But I did reach a point after a lot of counseling that I could function and be a semi-normal teenager. But it was really hard. It was so hard. And, I really expected my parents to come down hard on me. But they were so devastated and haunted and they were just so, it killed their hearts so bad to see David ripped from me. And they knew that it was because of me and him and being stupid, that they knew that it was punishment enough for me, and that I would never be that stupid again. So I never got any sort of lecture about it, but let me tell you, I didn't need one. So getting to the creepy stuff, a couple years later, when I was 19 years old, I had just finished freshman year at college, and I was home visiting, and I brought my girlfriend, and she was sensitive. I don't mean sensitive like, emotions and feelings. I mean that she had always told me that she was spiritually sensitive, like she could sense spirits and imprinted emotions and things like that. And you would think, knowing that she was like this, I would have told her about my experience with David's death, but I didn't. And I know that sounds weird, but I honestly never talked about it to anybody but my psychologist, my therapist, and honestly, I thought to myself in my head that maybe David blamed me for his death, because it's always been thought that obviously he must have tried diving in again while I was gone and hit his head. You know, no one knows for sure, but it's clearly got to be what happened, because he was a really good swimmer. But anyway, I didn't tell her. And we were sitting on the couch, and she kept saying that her head hurt. And I got her an aspirin, and she was like, no, it's not a headache. And I'm feeling like it's not really my head that's hurting. I'm feeling something someone else felt. And I honestly didn't know what she was talking about. And she said, I'm feeling really cold and wet. Really cold and wet. And I just looked at her like she was nuts. She started to get a little annoyed with me because, I don't know, I was a 19-year-old guy with a girlfriend, and I was just stupid. And then she looked at me and said, I'm feeling like I'm filling up, like I'm full of water, like I'm waterlogged. And again, I just looked at her like, okay. And then she stood up and she started shaking her fingers out and wiggling them around. And I was like, what are you doing? And she insisted that her fingers felt like prune, like wrinkly, like she'd been in the water for a while. And then she finally stopped and just looked at me and said, David doesn't blame you for what happened. And I was silent. I didn't know what to say. And then she shook her head like she'd come out of a trance and said, what just happened? Who is David? And I was really creeped out. And I explained what had happened. And she was really creeped out too. But she tried to explain to me that she could sense what had happened. She could feel what had happened to David, and that from what she could feel in her head, it did feel like he had hit his head. And then he had taken on water and drowned. But that his spirit is light, and he did not blame me for it. You know, in a perfect world, that would have made me feel better. It would have lifted my spirit, and I wouldn't blame myself anymore. But the thing is, I don't truly know if I 100% believe what she had to tell me. Now I know I never told her about what happened to David until after she told me all of that, but it's just so hard for me to believe in the afterlife or anything like that. Maybe if David were to speak to me himself, I might believe, but the incident left me so just messed up that it's really hard to move on. Death is a really powerful thing. And, my girlfriend tried to get me to talk about David more often. And she meant well, she really did, but I just couldn't do it. We ended up breaking up about 6 months later, and I haven't spoken to her since. And I have never had an experience with David myself since his death. And, this was so many years ago now, so many years ago. My parents retired in the early 2000s, and they sold the house, and the current people that live there, they filled in the pool, so such is life, I guess. I don't know, a part of me hopes that someday, maybe David, if there is an afterlife, will try and contact me so I could know for myself that he's okay.